apart. I say the same thing to every guest every fucking week, and the same to Charlie every week.
What do you say?
Just I hate getting started because it's just so unnatural. Like
is
so
it
unnatural.
Forced?
It is. And obviously everyone's pumped up for the big show, and you've got to be like, yeah. Yeah, like come on. Woo! Hello and welcome everybody to the show you have all been waiting for. It is the buy round, but it's the new show, the Jam and Cheese Show. We've been getting, I don't know about you, mate, but I've been getting personally a lot of questions. When's it starting? They're not interested in the interview show anymore. They're certainly not interested in midweek matters. They just want to know when the cheese is coming on. But here you are, mate. Finally, we've kicked off on debut.
Yeah, it's a little bit like round one. I'm a bit nervous, to be honest. So bear with me, folks. But I'm also excited.
Surely you're not nervous for round one. Surely you've been around the block for long enough now.
No, you still get those nerves, I reckon. It's just, I mean, they always say when you get nervous, it sort of means something to you, and I think you can use nerves to your advantage. So you can definitely use it to play good, or you can use it to play bad. Hopefully it's the first one for me, but I'm excited for round one.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. If the nerves go, it probably shows you're not caring as much. But before we get into all things football related, how's the cheese settled into life in Sydney? You've gone from Melbourne, where you can pretty much get around and not do whatever you want, but mostly unrecognisable, and here you are now. You're the big fish.
I guess but in the East, the funny thing is, like, I'm not like a big fish. Like, I'm just a rugby league player. Like, you see some of these houses in the East, those big fish, they're worth like, $9 million houses. I'm still, it'd be a big impact if I could buy a $9 million house, but that's like an average house around the East. So when you talk about settling in, I'm definitely loving it. Like, going out of the beach. I've got this sick obsession with hand spearing at the moment. So,
what's that?
Like, you get like a little rubber band with a spear attached to it, and you just go, I guess, murder some fish. Sometimes you'll eat them, sometimes you won't. But yeah, it's been good. I haven't run across a dolphin yet, but I'll run into them next week.
Yeah. Let's be metaphorical. Spearing dolphins. We don't want to get the what is it? PETA activists on our case.
Yeah, I don't kill dolphins.
Only on Sunday.
Until Sunday.
Yeah.
Until Sunday.
But everything else is good. Enjoying yourself here. You're happy you made the move, and
very happy I made the move. Being able to train in my preferred position. It's just so good, the club as well. Like, sometimes it can be daunting, but I come into the Roosters and they don't really have that. In rugby league, we go into a club and there's sort of like a hierarchy. Mm-hmm. They don't really have that. So it's been good. Like, Jared treats the youngest bloke just as well as he treats me, and he's the big scary dude. So when you come into the club and you can see that everyone's got a love for each other, it's awesome, and it kind of made the transition for me a lot easier. Yeah,
nice. And obviously life in Sydney is a little bit different. You have your last free weekend up until a buy round. What did you do with yourself?
I went with 4 of the boys, so as well, me included, Victor, Ben Thomas and Jake Turpin. We went up to Port Stephens. They got a hell of a country club up there. We spent 3 days at the country club, but on the Saturday, we went and caught some blue marlin. So I caught the biggest one, of course. It's about 400 pound or something. I think it was 150 kilos, but after a few beers, it turned into 400 pound. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. Like, we all went on the boat expecting, one of us to catch a marlin, but the guy on the boat was a bit of a wizard. His name was Stretch. He was the captain, and we managed to pull 4 of them in and had a good time. And then we went to the country club, and I only made it till about 9 o'clock.
Yes, of course. I think you're being very sincere there. Roosters have been in the news past couple of weeks, making some big waves in the transfer market. Dom Young, a player who I've really admired coming over here to Australia and his time in England as well. Great signing for the Roosters. Obviously linked with Spencer Leniu.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know he's leaving Penrith, but don't know if it's official yet. And Dylan Napa is back in the house.
Big Dylan Napa, he's back. He trained today. I think he's still got a little bit to go with the getting in shape order. I don't think he's been, around the rugby league system. I think he's had about 4 months off. So, it's good to have him around. He's obviously very well respected at the club. He's won a grand final there, and he's been the character in the team for a while. So I think they all love him, and I'm excited to get to know him properly. But with Dom Young, I don't reckon people really... he doesn't look that big on the tally, but I met him after the World Cup last year. He is massive. Like, he is a big, big human. So I'm excited to have him. And then Spencer Leniu. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet, but if we do get him, he is a hooker's dream. He's actually a hooker's dream. I've played against him, and we've had a few run-ins, but he can get ruck speed, and the grand final he played outstanding last year. So if we do land him, I'm super excited as a hooker to be coming off his play the ball. So
yeah, he's a quality player. It was excuse me. It was interesting to see Coach Trent Robinson talk about the signing of Dominic Young, saying he wants big, tall, rangy, athletic people. So you can really see why he signed you. Really fitting the mould there, Trent.
Well,
and
if they need me to get up, I'll get up.
No, he is a huge man, and considering last year was his first in the NRL, obviously coming over from England, his obviously being young, your best years are ahead of you, but I don't think he's anywhere near scratch the surface of his potential, and I imagine that would have been some of the conversation around Trent and the rest of the staff there, is getting him into this organisation, which have done so well over the past few years in nurturing and developing talent and getting the best out of them.
Yeah, he's definitely doing a good job. I don't know what that means for the wingers in our team at the moment, but yeah, he's definitely a player I'm looking forward to having, because he's kind of the total package when it comes to wingers. Like, big, tall, rangy, probably be able to jump really high and catch the ball, and when he puts on a bit of muscle, like myself, he'll be steamrolling bloke. So looking forward to that.
Beefed up. Hey, talking about the training and whatnot, I think a lot of people are asking because they want to know for Supercoach.
What?
You gonna knock out 80?
I don't think I'll knock out 80 in the first round. We'll see what happens, but we've got to look after that. See, I've got the most useless muscles, the calf muscle. Apparently, it's not very useful for an athletic person because they just weigh you down. So I've got these big mamazitas on the bottom of my legs, holding me back. So they get all crampy. Rounds 1, round 2. So
have you knocked out 80 before?
Yeah, I have. I've knocked out 85 before against the Roosters. So when I'm going into the game, I'll prepare for 90 minutes.
And anything else? Yeah, prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah,
that's it's not a bad motto. That as we're talking about the Roosters and you being here, what can you give us any of your thoughts on how Angus Crichton's going and what you thought of that?
Yeah, it's a tough situation because he hasn't been at training, so I don't really know the full extent of it, and I don't know what the facts are about what's going on. But I do know that he's going through a very tough time. But not only him, his family, his father, I guess has been around him for the last couple of months, and I think he spoke on television the other day. But I can only imagine the sort of pressure it's been put on his family, and it's something that I guess people don't really realise when they're trying to dive in and have their say with what they want about the situation. It's just, you don't really know how many people it's affecting. And it's a mental health issue. And obviously everyone knows how hard and mental health issues can be, and a lot of people in Australia are going through them. So I think you just got to find that respect and respect the wishes of his family and what they're going through, and try keep this as private as possible.
Yeah, it's really pissed me off that it's come to this. So the statement that the Roosters put out that he's going to be unavailable because it's a personal matter wasn't enough for people.
Yeah.
Like, and even myself, I found myself falling into that trap of being like, oh, I wonder what could it be? But that should be enough. And I need to be better. I think we all need to be better as a society in going, personal issues, that's enough.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, you hear a lot about the rumours and innuendo that come with a statement like that, because people have this need or this thirst for information.
Yeah.
We need to know. Well, you don't. Surely the fact that he's, you know, the statement comes out from the Roosters that this guy's on personal leave for personal reasons, that should be enough. And, you know, I even thought to myself, you know, like, oh, you know, good on Angus for coming out and saying this, because it's going to help a lot of people. But you know what? This was forced upon him.
Yeah.
And forced upon his dad to come out and say this due to the, I believe, the number of idiotic rumours that were doing the rounds. And
well, I don't think, like you said, I think it was forced, because I don't think his dad would want to have come out and said all that stuff about his son. I think, it's very tough, but
and it's personal, and anyone that, you know, is going through mental health issues, like it's an awful place to be in. I've had my own struggles and continue to manage them, and the last thing you need is this being made public. Unless you want that, unless that's your decision. Yeah. So I reckon the message to anyone out there is just leave it alone. Don't speculate on what rounds he's going to be back, because it doesn't matter. Yeah. What matters is that he gets himself right. Yeah.
First and foremost, he's a person. Yeah. You know, first and foremost, he's a person, and when he's right, he'll be right. Like
like it's not, we need him back for round 10. Yeah. Like, bollocks to that. Yeah. Like, he's back when he's back. There's no fixed. It's not like you do your, you know, you do your, you know, medial, and it's like, oh, well, usually it's 2 to 4. Yeah. Like, forget
these things take.
Well, it might take a week. It might take a year. It might take 10. Like, who knows? But just this, like, need, and then idiots spreading. You know, and I've been sent some messages, and you're like, come on. And I think, you know, not only is it harming Angus Crichton and his family, but it's harming those people who are out there that are struggling with these mental illnesses and thinking like, well, you know, can I speak to people about it? Can I take some personal time? Because then people are gonna be wondering where I am.
And when people say bad things about it, like make jokes or stuff like that, it's like there's other people around the world that, you know, maybe they wanted to reach out to someone, but because all these people are making jokes about it, they're just going to hold it to themselves and try to keep it a, you know, private matter. When there is, with mental health, there's definitely a point where you have to go and seek help, and you have to find the people that are close to you and be able to open up to them. I know, I don't really want to bring him into this, but I know Nicho Hynes, he's going through a tough time, but he's not a guy that will just go into his shell. He's a guy that will actively seek you know, help from his friends, and actively talk to his mates about it, because he's just that guy, and he's a massive advocate for mental health, and he's the golden boy of the NRL, and he'd give him the keys, because I love him, and he's doing great things for this game and for Indigenous kids around mental health. And I know that he's probably reached out to Gus and probably tried to help out, because he's just one of those guys. So, it's just, for now, I think just it's a private matter, and people can't speculate on what they don't know.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good point to leave it there and look ahead to round 1. But you're right, mate. Nicho Hynes is an absolute champion in this space, and he should be applauded for that. But on to round 1. The Roosters go up and take on the Dolphins. It's history in the making.
Yeah.
And a little bit about what could have been, because obviously they were in for you as well.
Yes.
How you feeling heading up there for round one?
Yeah, I'm super excited, to be honest, because all my family live in Brisbane. My parents, my older brother, a lot of my extended family. My sister's coming over from New Zealand, so it's going to be awesome. But I think the funny thing is going to be playing against my two older brothers, I used to call them, Kenny Bromwich and Jesse Bromwich. Playing against them, I'm looking forward to that. I'll probably start throwing some banter in soon, sending them some photos of some dolphin stew and stuff like that. But I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I think, like I said before, it's kind of a special game for the Roosters, because Artie Beetson used to play for Redcliffe as well, so we're playing for the Artie Beetson medal.
It'd be
a lot, and Roosters have a rich history, and he's at the forefront of it. I think his ashes are spread in Allianz Stadium, so I think Robbo's got a plan to try to get us up for that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think with my old players hat on whether I think this would be a good time to play the Dolphins or a bad time. Like, it's going to be an emotional day for them.
Yeah.
But are we expecting too much of them round one? Are they going to grow into themselves a little bit? But it's certainly going to be a huge occasion, and I think it's a great way to kick off their season up against one of the heavyweight favourites.
Yeah.
In the Roosters, Wayne Bennett will be pushing all the buttons, and like you say, coming up against a few of your old.
I think he'll be pushing my buttons as well, because Journo rang me up the other day saying Wayne Bennett, saying that I grubbed him, which in my, I don't even have a defence. I definitely grabbed them, which is not good. But I couldn't turn down the Roosters, and I have every right to do that, Wayne. Sorry.
Well, look, these things happen, don't they? And that's sport, and you let bygones be bygones, and you move on. But mate, the round one, I think when people think of round one, they think Melbourne Storm. Like, so your old club.
Yeah.
Have they ever lost a round one? Is it something like 19 straight?
I think it's like 19 in a row, maybe even 20, mate. Yeah, something like that. But when I played for Melbourne, we had a big emphasis on round one because of that rich history. I don't think it really mattered if we lost. But I think what Craig used to say was round one's a reflection of your preseason. So if you play good round one, you obviously had a good preseason. And Melbourne Storm pride themselves on their preseason. And I think round one's a bit weird though, because teams like the Roosters, I think then, like, historically they haven't been that good in round one, because a lot of round one footy is just whoever completes the best, whoever holds the ball, like, wins the game. Whereas Roosters are a team that are willing to, go and, I don't know if that's what we're going to do this week, but I'll probably pull them in, rein them in. Let's win. I think the Roosters are a team that just, if it's on, they're going to try to go for it.
Yeah, they play.
Whereas a lot of other teams go in their shell and go, we probably won't play this play. It's a bit risky. But I think Melbourne were really good at that. We just grind out games, and we got a pretty good history in round one.
Yeah.
Who are they playing round one? Does anyone know?
Melbourne Storm, Para away on Thursday night to kick off the season. It's a tough.
I haven't beat Para in the last 4 games, 4 or 5 games, I reckon, and I'm off them. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Gutho, it's just everywhere. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, he does cover some ground.
It's everywhere. I'd love to see his GPS stats in a game.
But it's a great start to the season. Absolutely great start. I always think with round one, depends on, like, you'd never experience this, Brandon, obviously being at Melbourne and then come to the Roosters, but when you're at a team that you're optimistic about where your season could go, but you're probably not, you don't have that enough evidence to back it up with prior results and with the roster that you've got. The round one for you as a Melbourne Storm, now the Roosters, you're expected to be top 4, but it's very different when you're not in those positions. So you're looking at the first block of fixtures and being like, right, okay, well, if we are gonna do something this year, this is super important. So I think it's super important that we start well, because we don't have the capability to catch up later down the track.
Yeah.
Like, we've got to account for a form dip and injuries and suspensions and whatnot. So we really need to hit this first block of 5 really strongly and come away with 3-4 wins out of 5. So I think that's why a lot of teams do pull back a little bit, because they're a bit unsure of themselves.
When I was at Melbourne, we sort of had the same thing. Like, we had our block periods where we'd play like 4 good teams in a row. Like, say we're playing Roosters, Para, Penrith. We like take ownership of that block and we try, I guess, focus on that. And it's weird because like the mindset that we have is we're focused on winning minor premierships, whereas other teams are focused on trying to actually just make the finals.
Yeah.
And I guess it's tough if you're a bottom tier team and you lose a couple of games in a row for round 1, round 2, round 3. It's going to be tough to make up the yards in the back end. So I reckon round 1's a good stepping stone for these clubs that are. I'm interested to watch the Tigers. I'm very interested in watching the Tigers this year. Yeah,
I think a lot of people are. There's a lot of I think the Tigers, the Dogs, Manly, Brisbane. There's a lot of teams that people have got. Want to see what they're all about. Even Penrith, people are dying to know how they're going to go without Kickow and without Coruscant and a few others. So
I think the Sharkies did that last year. Last year they were, not expected to be like great, but like they weren't doing so well for the last couple of years. And then they had a big signings in the off season. And last year, I don't know, they finished top 4.
They were second.
Yeah, they second. Exactly. Yeah. And I trained against them the other day. They're looking pretty good as well.
Yeah.
So we had an opposed session against them. Obviously, Fitzy and Robbo used to think, which was a cool experience because we got to train against a defence that we're not used to. We train against your own defence. Victor Radley can pick us apart because he knows exactly how the whole team defends. But playing against them was fresh and it was good that two teams can come together like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you see that happen quite a lot actually in the rugby league fraternity. And speaking of coming together, I forgot to touch on this before. No limit. There could be a coming together.
Oh, the next Paul Gallen. Wow. No, I guess I just said something on the Hello Sport podcast, and it kind of blew up out of proportion. I reckon. I do enjoy the thought of it, but I'm a rugby league player. I'm through and through. I did a bit of boxing, amateur boxing when I was younger, but
did you?
Yeah. Used to do. Well, that was how I kind of stayed fit. When I was younger, I was really fit. I guess that's what nudged me up in the ranks because my dad used to make me train all the time.
I remember you saying actually, yeah.
And I was doing boxing like 3 times a week. I had a couple fights, 2 exhibition fights and about 4 actual fights. But yeah, like that was, and then I stopped that when I was about 14. And I think I just said something on a podcast, and then Georgie Rose is basically, he's a good businessman, old Georgie Rose, strike when the iron's hot. But he messaged me, I think. He said, whenever you're ready, mate, just let us know. And I was like, yeah, sweet. Probably won't be any time soon. But yeah, I don't think I'll be living the lights of Paul Gallen. He was pretty an epic sportsman, old Paul Gallen.
Man, just having a look at your hands though. Look at that scar there.
Yeah, that one's worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hands are busted.
It's not a good sign to start a boxing career with already busted hands.
Yeah, this one was actually in a boxing fight on Mad Monday. I punched a guy's elbow and it just broke. So.
No, not for me. Not for me. So it's on the radar, but not.
Yeah, it's on the radar, but in the distance, in a big distance. Because especially for me, I like to enjoy my off season. I like to rest my body. Last thing I need is a 4-week training camp in a boxing, and Then going in and fighting some bloke and then going to pre-season 2 weeks later, I don't think.
And you more than likely, hopefully, the international game can put on a few fixtures towards the back end.
That.
So
I'd love to go back to England again as well. We
yeah,
obviously have a little bit of history. But yeah, so I'd like to go do an England tour again. And
yeah, there's probably no time.
Yeah. No time for boxing.
No time for boxing at the minute. So, yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think that wraps us up, Cheese.
Sweet.
Been a great debut
Let me know
show.
how it went. First debut show.
I'm sure the fans will be loving hearing you and your insight into round 1 and all things Sydney living. So, thanks for joining us here. Well, not thanks. You are the Jam and Cheese show. People aren't here to hear me talk scribble. They just want to hear me ask you questions. So, know that I'll get picked
Without
apart.
you, though, it's just a cheese sandwich.
I reckon that's an even better idea. The Jam and Cheese lasts a week, and the cheese sandwich just comes and like squats down there and just.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind hearing from people if they've got any questions for me.
We can. I'm sure we can see to that. There'll be plenty of questions. Hey, as I've learned with that, careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. All right. We'll see everybody next week. All the best up in Brisbane, isn't it? It's at Suncorp. So, be looking forward to watching you in that history, not defining, but making game. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I need about 50 tickets as well, so if anyone wants to donate to the Jam and Cheese, donate some tickets to the Jam and Cheese.
I'll see if I can get a media pass. There's one for you for Triple M. So, magic.
Thank you.
Awesome.